So I believe everything is clear up to the SQL injection part. Hmm? Great. So today we are going to start with cryptography. Okay. So let's open here. Okay. So first thing first, what is cryptography? What do you understand by cryptography? That's the first question. So I can define cryptography as art of or the science of secret writing or the hidden writing, you can say. Hmm? Art of science of hidden writing, hidden or secret writing. Okay. Is that all like it in bitcoins? Okay. So along with this, I can say that cryptography is like art of or the science of converting plain text into ciphertext. Okay. So I can represent it like this way. This is also known as cryptography. Okay. So PT is just the short form for plain text and CT is just the short form for ciphertext. Okay. Now there's another question that arises from this point, like what is the difference between plain text and ciphertext? Like what is plain text and what is ciphertext? Can you tell me? Encrypted data is ciphertext, right? Okay. Encrypted data is ciphertext. Great. And what is plain text? See, plain text is plain text, हाँ? क्या सर ये भी कोई पूछने वाली बात है? Plain text क्या होता है? Yes. Okay. So plain text is basically, you can say, something which is in human readable format. That is plain text. Okay. Plain text is something whose meaning can be derived. Okay. Some meaning can be derived out of it. I can say human readable format. That's one thing. Okay. Another thing is that some meaning can be derived out of it. That is also going to be considered as plain text, right? And I can comprehend it. Some sense can be derived out of it, and exactly opposite of it is going to be considered as ciphertext. Like no meaning can be derived out of it. Okay, no sense can be derived. It is non-comprehensible by a human. Okay, so I can say nonsense data as well. So that is how you are going to define ciphertext. Okay, now this is not the complete definition. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to add on another word that is known as algorithm. Okay, so now your definition is going to be like it is the science of converting plain text into ciphertext with the help of some algorithm and some key. So now another question arises, like what is an algorithm? That's the question. How are you going to define an algorithm? Tell me. Right. So you guys are right in that regard. So algorithm is like, you can say set of rules, or you can say set of instructions, okay, which are supposed to be followed in a set manner, okay. Like you need to go from step 1 to step 2, okay. You need to perform everything step by step in a specific sequence. You cannot just jump from step 2 to step 6, or you cannot just perform step 4 first and then perform step 1, okay. So that is algorithm, certain set of procedure or rules supposed to be followed in a sequence manner, okay. Okay, now let's just take a very basic example of cryptography, okay. Let's just try to understand it in the most simplest and most basic form, like what is cryptography. So if I say so, like let's do one thing. Let's try to write alphabets from A to Z, okay, and assign numbers from 1 to 26 to them respectively. Like A is going to correspond to 1, B is going to correspond to 2, so on and so forth, till Z is going to correspond to 26. Okay. So what I have done here is, I have already done it. I've already written it here. You can see it. You can refer to it. Okay. Now let's say you have some plain text with you. Okay. I'm referring plain text as PT in this case. Okay. That's PT is equals to, let's say hello. Hmm? Hello is my plain text. And I want to convert my plain text to ciphertext. So what I'm going to do is, let's say, I'm going to first of all convert these numbers, these alphabets to their corresponding numbers. Okay. If I'm going to convert these numbers, these alphabets to their corresponding numbers, can you guys tell me what is going to be my end result here? So it is going to be like H is for 8, E is for 5, 12, 12, 15. Okay. This is how it is going to look like when I'm going to convert these alphabets to their numbers, corresponding numbers. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's assume a key value here. Let's say key is equals to 3. Okay. Let's try to add it. Add the value of key to these numbers. So what is going to happen? Like 8 plus 3, 5 plus 3, 12 plus 3, 12 plus 3 and 15 plus 3. Okay. So it is going to become 11, 8, 15, 15 and 18. Okay, one thing before that. Uh, were you guys able to find the SQL injection recording or not? Hmm? Or shall I say, how many of you were able to find the SQL injection recording? Key is key. The literal meaning of key. But that was not my question. I was asking something else. Am I audible to anyone? Only 15 minutes. Only 15 minutes. Great. How are you guys going to become a hacker this way? Hmm? This way you guys are not going to become a hacker. What was this session? CH3. Okay. So these were the details which I shared with you. Hmm? Just copy this URL. Go here, paste this URL, and you are going to get a 15 minutes video. Just click on forward and you'll get next one. Okay. 1 hour 9 minutes video. So let's get back. Let's continue. So I assumed a key. I added a key value here. Okay. Now I have some kind of a number over here. Okay. And now what I want to do is I want to convert this number back to its corresponding alphabet. Okay. And I have it written down here. So what it is going to become is K H O O R. Okay. And what is this? This is going to be considered as my ciphertext. Okay. So here you can see that I was able to convert hello to KHO or Khoot, something like that. Okay. And no sense can be derived out of it. Okay. You can derive some sense out of the plain text, but you cannot derive sense out of the ciphertext. Okay. This is your cryptography. This is the process of converting plain text to ciphertext. Okay. Now this process is also known as encryption. Okay. When the process is going to happen this way, in this direction from plain text to ciphertext, it is going to be considered as encryption. When I am going to reverse this process, it is going to be considered as decryption. So how will I be decrypting the data here? Hmm? Ciphertext to plain text. Who is going to tell me? By removing the key values. Okay. So you are not very specific in that regard, but okay. Let me assume that you were trying to say this thing, like you have something as ciphertext, hmm, converted into their corresponding numbers, and it is going to look like this. And then subtract your key value. So decryption is just the opposite of encryption. Okay. Subtract the key value, and you are going to be left with 8, 5, 12, 12, 15, and it is going to be hello. Okay. So here you guys just looked into the process of encryption and decryption. Now who is going to tell me the algorithm here? What is the algorithm? I'm not going to proceed any further if you guys are not going to tell me what is the algorithm here. No one? Hmm? I have only one answer in the chat that says hello, add key 3.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. See, algorithm, what I think is actually I'm on the mobile today. The algorithm, which I think is to convert the plain text into its alphanumeric, sorry, hexadecimal form and then add plus three into it, right? Something like this. Because exactly the name of this algorithm, so I won't be knowing. But
Yeah,
I
no.
think this should be the one.
So I'm not asking you guys the name of the algorithm. I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
just by going through this thing, whatever we have done so far, can you just break it down into algorithmic steps? Like, what is an algorithm? We already discussed, right? It is like set specific steps that you need to follow in this space, same order. Okay. So in this case, the algorithm is going to be, first of all, you need to take your plain text. Okay.
Convert hexadecimal form.
So no, this is not your hexadecimal form. So first of all, you need to assign numbers to letters, to the alphabets. Okay, do that numbering from A to Z, from and assign 1 to 26 corresponding numbers. Okay, so the first step is going to be assigning assignment of these numbers. Okay, then the second step is going to be convert your plain text from alphabets to numbers. Okay, convert that H into a number, E into a number, L into a number. That is your second step. You cannot add a number to an alphabet, right? You are saying add key to hello. That does not make any sense. Okay. So the algorithm is going to be converted into corresponding number, then add your key value to that number. Whatever is the value, whatever is the number, convert it back to the alphabet. And here is your ciphertext. That is your algorithm. Okay. So this was just very basic example for cryptography. Okay, the most simplest example that I could have given. This is the other example. Now, actually, there is essentially a very renowned algorithm which looks very similar to this. That is known as ROT13. Okay, let me just type ROT13. So what happens in case of ROT13 is the logic remains the same, whatever the algorithm remains the same, only the key value changes. In case of ROT13, the key becomes certain. Okay, that is what ROT13 is. So let's say if I have plain text as hello, it is going to become URYYB. Okay, and you can map the same thing here as well. Like H is going to become U, so on and so forth. ROT13 is clear. When I go to this ROT13.com, you are going to see that there are ROT1, ROT2, ROT3, everything. Okay. So what does these means? ROT basically means rotation, rotate by 3, rotate by 13. Okay. If I do ROT3, you can see hello is going to become KHOOR. The key value is 3 here. Okay. Now who is going to tell me that what is special, what is so special about ROT13? There's something special about ROT13. Everything is right in front of you. ROT3 example I have given, ROT13 example I have given. What is the specialty for ROT13? What is something special about it? Yes, exactly. Okay, because there are total of 26 alphabets. We can divide it into two pairs, two halves, an equal half of 13 alphabet in a row. And if let's say I have A in my plain text, that is 1. 1 plus 13 is going to become 14. Okay, B is 2. 2 plus 13 is going to become 15. So if there is A in plain text, if I say hello, hello, let's say Amar. So it is going to become U R Y Y B N Z N. This is N. N G N R. R is going to become E. So it is in both direction. K in plain text is going to become X, and X in plain text is going to become K in ciphertext. And we can observe this pattern here as well. Like if I go here, if I'm doing ROT13, URYYB is going to become hello back. Okay. But if I do, let's say ROT3, we have Khur, KHOOR. If I'm going to apply ROT13 to it again, it is not going to become hello back. It is going to become something else like NKRRU. Okay. If I apply NKRRU, it does not become hello. Okay. So that is something special about ROT13. So ROT13 is something which you guys can find in a lot of CTFs here and there. Okay. So that's why you must be aware of ROT13. That's why I just discussed about ROT13 here. Okay. Now tell me, why do we need cryptography? Why do we need encryption? Hmm? The need of it. To secure information, as in to hide our relevant data. How is it going to hide your relevant data? Or how is it going to secure?
If the hacker or anybody who wants to try to unauthorized unauthorized access, he wants to have an unauthorized access to the data, and if he does not know how to decode it, then he'll not be able, even if he copies the data, he'll not be able to get anything out of it. So basically, that's why we use these algorithms to, to encode the data.
Right. Not to encode the data, to encrypt the data. Okay.
What is the
So
difference?
in encoding, you can say, uh, like we're just converting the form of it. Like we have got certain encoding methods. So in encoding, there is no such key or something like that involved. Okay.
Uh, uh, then how do normally if you encode the data and send it to the how the other person will be able to see? With the public key and private key you're talking about.
So
That
sorry,
is what you're talking.
public.
I'm saying when you talk about encoding a data, you said that that is different, right?
Yeah.
So like when we encode a data, then when we decode it, what is the procedure and how is it different from encrypting and decrypting?
So like let's say that's what I told you that in encoding there is not going to be any key that is going to be involved. So if I just say HTML or URL encoding, you maybe you would have observed in our yesterday's session that when I was copying something from the browser from the URL, my spaces were converted to %20, something like that. Hmm?
Yes,
Let me see.
percent there was there, right? Percent 20, percent 30.
Yeah. What was
Yeah, that is
%20?
between. It is kind of if I understand, if I remember correctly, it's kind of a changing that particular, let's say, an AND function into a particular for the you know it was given a particular value.
That
If
is
I
the
remember
encoding.
correctly,
That is encoding.
that is
That is
encoding.
URL encoding. Yeah.
Okay. And what happened? What would have happened if it's encrypted? Then would have been completely different text, like
Yes.
this ROT
Yes.
13 or something, the
Yes.
base 64. Okay,
Right.
got it.
Here you can see %20, %20 here.
Mm-hmm.
These are your spaces, and it just got URL encoded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
%27 are your apostrophes. Okay. This is encoding.
Okay.
In encryption, we are just going to be, so here, there's no key being exchanged, or you do not need any key or something very special to decode it. Okay. You just know that, okay, this form, when it is like the space in ASCII, when it is going to convert into URL encoding, it is going to become %20. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one more question regarding to this. Whenever the text which we are, reading, writing, and everything, it is
Mm.
UTF-8 or something.
Yes, UTF-8.
It is UTF-8, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and whenever we're trying to decode something, decrypt something,
Yeah.
we should always set our decryption into if we want in a readable format, it should be in UTF-8, not any other one, right?
Yes, right. Those are
Okay.
your character sets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How it is converted. Okay. This is URL encoding. So let's get back here. Close this thing. Okay, so basically I can say that I'm going to use cryptography for confidentiality purposes. Okay, I can say that. Mm.
Yes.
So cryptography is basically used for for maintaining the confidentiality. Okay, it is also used for maintaining the integrity. We are going to look into it as well. So now let's talk about different types of cryptography. When I say different types of cryptography, so we have divided the types of cryptography. First of all, we have tried to classify them. Okay, so first of all, we have got classical ciphers. So classical cipher types are further divided into two types. Okay. The first one is your substitution cipher. Substitution cipher. And another one is your transposition cipher. Transposition cipher. Okay. So these are your two types, substitution and transposition. Now the question arises, what is the difference between substitution cipher and transposition cipher? What is the difference? That's our question here. Have you guys heard about it? Like there's something like substitution, there's something like transposition. Anyone?
No.
Okay, so essentially what happens in case of substitution cipher is we have already looked into an example of substitution cipher itself. Okay. So what happens in substitution cipher is whatever alphabets you have in your plain text, those alphabets are going to be substituted, or you can say they are going to be replaced by something else. Okay. That is what happens basically in substitution cipher. What did you miss, Lakshay? Cipher part. What cipher part did you miss? I don't know. What are you talking about here? When you started cipher? Yeah. I just started it. I was not there. Okay. So I was just talking a brief about what are cipher, what is plain text, cipher text, cryptography. I was just talking about, just giving you an introduction. I was not there, right? So you should go back to the recording and check it out. Okay. You just missed 2 to 3 minutes, nothing else, not more. Okay. So substitution cipher, transposition. Yeah, I was talking about substitution cipher. So what happens in case of substitution cipher is whatever you have in your plain text, that is going to be replaced or substituted by something else. Like as you looked into the example for ROT 13, you had like hello, HELLO. H was there in your plain text and H got substituted with something else like U. Hello became U or YYB. Okay, so H was replaced by U. E was replaced by U or R. Okay, and L was replaced by Y. That is substitution cipher. Okay, and ROT 13 is an example for substitution cipher. This thing is clear. Like substitution cipher is clear.
Can you repeat again? There is a break. Sorry. At my end.
Yeah, I'm saying that in substitution cipher, what you need to do is, what happens is whatever is there in your plain text, that is substituted by something else. Okay, that is totally replaced by something else. Okay, that is what happens in substitution ciphers. I gave you the example for ROT 13. That's what we looked into ROT 13. Like we had hello, HELLO, and it was converted to U or Y by B. In there, H was replaced by U, or I can say that H was substituted by U, E was substituted by R, and L was substituted by Y. Like here you can see. Alphabets are getting replaced by some other alphabet. That is substitution cipher. All right.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Now there is something known as transposition cipher. Okay. So what is transposition cipher? In transposition cipher, these alphabets are not substituted, they are not replaced. Okay. Instead, they are just rearranged, they are just reordered. You can say jumbled as well. That is what happens in case of transposition cipher. So let's look into it. Let's try to have an example of transposition cipher, like to see what happens in case of transposition cipher. So let's take a plain text. Hmm, like difficult. That's my plain text. Okay. Now I want to convert it into my cipher text, and I want to use some kind of a transposition cipher. So an example for transposition cipher is railfen cipher. Okay, railfen cipher. So let's see how railfen cipher is going to be applied here. Okay, what you need to do is you just need to draw a line here, and after drawing a line, what you need to do is whatever text you have, just write it in this fashion: one alphabet above the line, another alphabet below the line, like this. Okay. So you understand how I have written this text here? Great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write whatever is in the first row, or I can say whatever is above the line, D F I U T, followed by whatever is below the line, I F C L. This is my cipher text here. Okay. Let me try to change them. Arial is fine. So what is this? This is my cipher text. Okay. So you realize here that no single alphabet correspond to another alphabet here. Okay. I cannot say that D was converted to D, I was converted to F, F was converted to I, or F was converted to U, something like that. Okay. There is no one-on-one word-to-word mapping here. Nothing is getting replaced here. So this is transposition cipher. So transposition is clear. What's the need? What is the need of cryptography? What are we studying? I believe I already answered this question. Why are we studying cryptography? For confidentiality. Okay. That's why we need this thing as well. And these are your classical ciphers. Okay. These are not used on regular basis nowadays. This is how cryptography used to look like in initial days. Okay. You can very well understand that if I am going to give you something like this, you would be able to rearrange them with passage of time. You would be able to difficult word here, right? These are your classical ciphers, not something fancy up to date, not like that. Okay, so then in substitution cipher, there are two things. One is monoalphabetic, and another one is polyalphabetic. Okay. These are your types in substitution ciphers. Okay. Now, question arises: what is the difference between monoalphabetic and polyalphabetic? Can any one of you try? Hmm? If I say ROT 13 is very specifically example of monoalphabetic substitution cipher. So what happens in case of monoalphabetic and polyalphabetic ciphers are basically whenever a single alphabet in plain text corresponds to a single alphabet in cipher text, that is monoalphabetic. Okay. In polyalphabetic, there is going to be no as such one-on-one mapping between the ciphertext and the plain text. Okay. In monoalphabetic, we can say that if let's say we looked into the ROT 13 example, let's go back here. So we can see here like if L was appearing 2 times here, so L was being mapped to Y. Every time L is going to appear, it is going to be converted to Y every time. If I say hello, HELLOO, so next time as well it is going to be B. Okay. So every time an alphabet is going to appear here, it is going to be mapped to a single alphabet. That is monoalphabetic. Now let's try to take an example of polyalphabetic. Hmm. In case of polyalphabetic, what happens is, so the example algorithm for polyalphabetic is like one time keypad. Okay. That's the name of the algorithm. And what happens in this case scenario is, let's take a plain text. Plain text is, let's say, difficult. Difficult is fine, right? D. Let's just. Oops. Again, oops. DIFFICULT. This is my plain text. I need to assume a key in this case. Okay, the key needs to be something like as of a string. So let's say my key is node. This is my key. Okay, NODE. So what I need to do is I need to start typing everything, every alphabet below each and every alphabet. NODE, NODEN. Okay, this becomes my key. Now what you need to do, now you need to do the same thing that you have done in case of ROT, that is convert these alphabets to their numbers and then add those numbers, write a number and convert that number back to an alphabet. So here what is going to happen, if I say D and N, so D is 4, N is 14, it is going to become 28. Okay, I and O, 9 plus 15 gives you 24. F and D, 6 plus 4, that is 10. 5 and E, 6 plus 5, 11. I N, let me just space them a little. And I is 9, I is 9, 9 plus n, n is 14. Okay, this is going to become 23. 14 plus 9 is 23. C plus O. Well, I'm not going to go all the way to the end. This is just to give you an idea. So the concept is going to be clear within this part itself. Similarly, you can continue with the rest part as well. Let me just convert these numbers back. So 26 is Z, 27 is A, 28 is B, 24 is X, and 10 is J, 11 is K, 23 is W. So you can see here, like for one time I was converted to X, and for another time I was converted to W. F was converted to K, and for another time F was converted to J. Okay, this is polyalphabetic. Got my point? What about others? Everyone? Great. Okay, so let's proceed further. Let's try to look into our modern cipher types that are basically ciphers based upon key types, like here. Let's talk about, so if I say ciphers based upon key types, I have two types of ciphers here. One is symmetric and another one is your asymmetric cipher. So who is going to tell me the difference between the two? Anyone? Don't know. What about others? Okay, let me just tell you that in case of symmetric ciphers, we only have one key. In case of asymmetric ciphers, we have got two keys. Okay, no one. So in case of symmetric cipher, the key we have. Yeah, Vaibhav, you were trying to say something.
Yes. See, if I understand the way you written is one key and two key, the one key will be like that means like you and me, we are communicating with each other in a encrypted manner or cipher manner, and you will share with me that key. But if that key is being given to somebody else also, then he is also can decrypt it. But in asymmetrical, there will be two keys, private key and public key. So one has to have a private key to decode it, but public key will not work. I think something like public key will be installed in different laptops or computers, like whomsoever we are going to share the data with.
Mhm.
But I don't know, something like this. I'm going on the right track? If I
Right,
so
right. You are on the right track.
yeah, so
So
so that is how it's going to communicate with different laptops and different devices who has already a public keys, and private key will be definitely used to decipher it.
right. So let's see what are symmetric and asymmetric ciphers. So in symmetric ciphers, there is only going to be single key, and that key is also referred as private key. Okay. And as the name in itself signifies that it is a private key, so private is something that you need to keep private, right? Like keep up to you. Do not just publicize it. Do not start sharing it like anything. Okay. So the private key is basically shared between the sender and the receiver. Okay. And the data can be encrypted and decrypted using the private key only. And if tomorrow that private key is leaked somehow, okay, that you have not been able to uh, keep that key safe with you, then anyone who is going to have that key would be able to decrypt the data. That is what happens in case of private key. Okay. And the examples for symmetric ciphers are like DES, data encryption standard is one, AES, advanced encryption standard. Okay. So AES like something which is latest in the market. Now when I say two keys here, the two keys that I'm referring to are going to be your, one is going to be your public key and another one is going to be your private key. Okay, there are going to be two keys. So now as the name suggests, public key is something that you can share publicly. Okay. And private key is something that you can not share to anyone. Okay. Not even the receiver of the information. Private key is something that is truly private in this sense. If you have your private key, you are not supposed to share it with anyone else. Okay. So let's look into how data is encrypted and decrypted using asymmetric cryptography. Okay, or asymmetric ciphers. So let me see if I can get a good image here. Or let's try to make it here itself. Two people here, one is Alice and another one is going to be Bob. Okay. And Alice is going to have, this is Alice and this is Bob. Now Alice is going to have its own set of public and private key. So let me just write A private key, A public key. Okay, that's one thing. Now Bob is also going to have its own public and private key. So just type B private key and B public key. Okay. Now out of them, I just told you that public keys can be shared. Okay, and private keys cannot be shared. So what they are going to do is they are going to first of all share their public keys with each other. Okay. Nobody cares about public keys in this case. Okay. Why, I'll tell you. So once the keys have been shared, Alice is going to have Bob's public key with him. Okay. And Bob is going to have Alice public key with him. Okay. Now the public keys have been exchanged. Now what they want to do is they want to send some information with each other. They want to share some information. So let's say Alice wants to send something to Bob. So how Alice is going to send something to Bob? Let's say you have got a document with you. Okay. This is your document that is supposed to be sent. What Alice is going to do is Alice is going to apply Bob's public key over it. Okay. When Alice is going to apply Bob's public key over it, this data is going to be encrypted. Now this encrypted data is going to be sent to the Bob. Once Bob receives it, Bob is going to decrypt this data using its private key. Okay. So the data is going to be decrypted using private key and Bob is going to have the data. Now here the thumb rule is the encryption is done using, oops, encryption is done using the public key. Okay. And the decryption is done using the private key always. Okay. Okay. So it's like if Alice encrypted this data. Hmm, let's get it back here. Let's assume one thing. Let's say Alice encrypted this data. Huh? No, they are not having same private key. They are different. One is B private, one is A private. Different variables, different notations, different values. These keys are mathematically dependent on each other. Okay. Whenever a key is generated, it is generated in a pair. Okay. So they are generated in a way. No, they are not decrypting using different private key. Something which is encrypted by your public key, it can only and only be decrypted by your corresponding private key. Whatever is going to be converted by a public key, it is going to be decrypted by a private key. I cannot encrypt it using a public key and then decrypt it using a private key. That is not possible. That is not possible. Okay. So coming back here, let's say Alice encrypted the data using Bob's public key. Now what Alice is in some dilemma. Alice thinks like, I'm not sure if I have encrypted the right document or not. Okay. I need to be sure. So yes, Ben. Yes, that's why they have to share their public keys first. Okay. So now let's say Alice encrypted the data using Bob's public key. Now Alice want to see for himself like what data did he encrypted, which file did he encrypted. Would Alice be able to decrypt the file which is encrypted by Alice itself using Bob's private public key? The answer is no, because once the data is encrypted using public key, it can only and only be decrypted by using its corresponding private key. So if the data is encrypted using Bob's public key, it can only and only be decrypted using Bob's private key. It cannot be decrypted using A's private key. Okay, that's the thing here. You can see here plain text is there. It's encrypted using the public key. Okay. It's encrypted into ciphertext and it is decrypted using secret, that is private key. Okay. The same thing is explained here as well. And algorithm, very famous algorithm is RSA. for asymmetric. What is this? Network security company? No. RSA algorithm. It has been created by three people, Revis, Shamir, and Edelman. Okay. And you can read more about these people here. Okay. One thing in common that you are going to find is if you want to become a cryptographer, okay, if you want to start playing with the ciphers, you need to understand mathematics and computer science, both of them. Okay. Because all of these people are going to have some kind of a mathematics degree and some kind of a computer science degree here. Okay. You can see. And this is going to be common with everyone. Okay. PhD computer science, BSc mathematics. Why I'm saying this is because all this cryptography is done using complex mathematical functions. Okay. I'll show you the what mathematical functions are used nowadays for encryption, for decryption. It has been mentioned here. You can see. So first of all, you should have that aptitude to build something like this. Then to understand something like this, yes, RSA is latest, yes. And then, uh, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, and then you need to have sufficient computer science knowledge to implement that mathematics practically into a code. Okay, that you will be building some functions, you will be building some programs which are going to take input, and it is going to apply those mathematic functions, and then give you that output. So proof of correctness, proof of Euler's theorem. This is a mathematical theorem. Fermat's little theorem. Attack against plain RSA, padding schemes, Chinese remainder algorithm, initial factorization in RSA problem. So all of this thing has been discussed here in detail. Okay, how key generation happens. Okay, this is the algorithm for key generation. How keys are generated, because keys are going to be mathematically dependent, right? So here you would see how keys are mathematically dependent with each other, how they are actually generated. Choose two distinct numbers, prime number P and Q, and all that stuff. You can see. Compute. What is this? Lambda, I believe. Lambda using Carmichael Totient function. I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Well, I'm not a cryptographer. Neither I aspire to become one. But you guys can. Okay, definitely. If you want to, you can become one. And talking about that, I have one more thing to share. That is, if you want to take a deep dive into it, there's a dedicated certification by EC Council, Certified Encryption Expert Specialist, CS, ECCS. So if someone is like way too much into cryptography, fan of cryptography, want to prove something in cryptography, you can try this one. Okay. Okay. Its mathematical theorems are too complex. Yes. See, everything is complex until you do not know it. Okay. Once you know it, it is easy. It is complex for me because I do not know it. I'm not like that much into. I do not know the names even. Okay, I'm not able to understand what this algorithm, these functions means. Okay, if you are going to talk about these same algorithms to some kind of a mathematics graduate, maybe he or she would be able to explain you this thing like what is modular exponentia. I don't know modular exponentia what it is. Maybe it is very easy concept. I do not know. Hamming weight, Carmichael, Euclidean algorithm. I don't know. So it's just that. Yes, it's easy. Great. Huh? So Lakshay, if you have any doubt with that regard, you can ask. You can contact Monica with that respect. Okay. So she is saying that she is planning for ECES as well. Okay. It is going so above your head that you even spelled it wrong. Well, anyways, so this was just a brief intro. Okay, it's like as I have mentioned you in the initial as well. Okay, so this is like a high level overview of cybersecurity domain. From here, you can decide like if you want to proceed toward the if you want to proceed towards this domain, you want to take a deep dive into this domain. You do not need to understand all that exploitation, exploit development, SQL injection. You do not need to know everything. You can just take a deep dive into cryptography, and still you can make a career in cybersecurity, like you are a cryptographer, something like that. Huh? That can be a thing. Well, so I will be ending this session now for today. Okay. Cryptography module is not yet completed. Okay. So what is left? I am going to talk about hashing next in our next session. That is going to be tomorrow probably. So in tomorrow's session, I am going to talk about what is hashing. So it would be good if you guys go through the basic definition at least, like what is hashing. Okay. Yeah. So that would be all from my side, guys. Have a great day ahead. Take care. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now, or else you guys can leave.
I have it all.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, how to read cookies. Instead, other than Burp Suite, is there any add-ons that I can put it on Firefox through which I can read the cookies?
Cookies. How to read cookies? That's your answer question, right? There's a plugin known as,
Yes. Tell me.
so you can read it from your developer console as well. Okay.
Okay.
Like you, I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, yes, it is.
So you can go here. You can go to web developer and go to web console here, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can go to memory.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, in storage, yes, in storage you need to go, and here you will find cookies. Here you can read your
Okay.
cookies.
And can I also modify it by sending it if I want to send a modified
So
cookie to the server? Hello?
yes, you can modify it as well. We looked into modifying cookies in session hijacking, right?
Actually, I at that time I had a huge problem with my net. So I didn't went to that one lecture, but I was actually doing the NetAS 5, the test
Huge
level.
actually, Vaibhav, I'm not able to hear you properly.
Hello?
Your
Can
voice
you
is
hear me now?
breaking in between.
Can you hear me
So
now? Hello?
yeah, can you repeat it once again?
No,
Like
I'm saying that that session hijacking. I think that was the session when we did Burp Suite, right? Hello? Hello?
yeah,
Hello?
yeah. Yes, Vaibhav.
You know what? Let me call you after the session. I'll maybe we'll have a better discussion. There's a lot of problem here.
Sure, sure. You
Okay.
do one thing. You drop me a voice text. Okay,
Okay.
as I have a session after this. Okay, at
Okay.
back to back. Not be able to
Okay.
take a call. Just drop me a voice
Okay.
text and I'll reply you
Okay.
that way. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're most welcome. Have a great day, guys. Have a great day ahead. Take care.
Thank you. Same to
Yeah.
you too. Bye bye.
And bye bye.